and thank you for the opportunity to address the committee. Uh, Everyone, it's really great to be here. I love this committee. It does a lot of work. And I'm here really to talk about three bills that I support. Uh, First is the 5296, also 244, but I'd specifically like to talk about 5001. And I'd like to thank the leadership on the committee as well as all members of the committee. The one thing I remember when I served on this committee was also working with former Chairman Joe Serra. And he said one of the things about working in this committee was that whether we were going to get ideas across the line or not, it was important for this committee to at least put forward the agenda for what would be in the best interests of seniors in the state of Connecticut. And we've been doing that for years. I first started on the committee back in 2011, and every year we would do this. This 5001 sees a lot of those initiatives starting to take root and hopefully get them over the line. Specifically on this bill, I really appreciate the work with regards to presumptive eligibility, the retroactive eligibility for 90 days, the expansion of the state ombudsman program, particularly with regards to community-based services, the parity for non-parent caretakers. I know that's something that would warm Representative Serra's heart. The study, as you heard from the Alzheimer's Association, the study for skilled nursing facility cognitive disorders, as well as just the outreach for the 5 agencies on aging across the state of Connecticut, the awareness of Alzheimer's disease, as well as the Aging in Place Safely program. The one thing that this committee has always gotten is the importance it is to enable our seniors to be able to not only age in place, but to do it with the maximum amount of independence and, most importantly, dignity. Everyone here gets it. And it's our job now to take it to the other legislators throughout the building to make sure they get it too. Because I think this is one of those initiatives that is so important to the quality of life of our seniors. And this bill, it's an ambitious project, but it's one that I think is legitimately aimed to helping seniors. And so I thank you for that. One concern I do have on the bill is with regards to the registries. It focuses here mostly on Medicaid.
Thank you, Senator.
May I continue? Uh, it focuses on Medicaid clients, and there are a broader population of people who use these services. Uh, so this is the beginning of the process. Hopefully we can work through that. And to that end, I would certainly enjoy being part of that conversation to move 5001 forward and to make sure that the finished product does exactly what I say. Make sure that seniors in Connecticut get to age in place with independence and dignity. With that, I'll entertain any questions.
Rep. Walensky.
Senator Kelly, thank you so much, and I appreciate you being here. And thank you, Madam Chair, for recognizing me. And thank you for your, 15 years of work, on this, on the committee, and for recognizing Representative Serra for all those years of throwing himself, on the railroad tracks for these issues. It is so refreshing to have the speakers and the governor's focus on these issues and be moving in the directions that we are. But one of the concerns that we have, and we don't seem to be able to have anything other than an impasse on it. If you could elaborate on what you started to speak about a couple moments ago, how do we bring oversight, and how do we bring the protections that we're talking about in 5001 to areas or to caregiving situations that don't involve Medicare. And I know you're not going to have an answer, otherwise we would have it in the bill. But I mean, what are your preliminary thoughts on, how do we open this oversight and improvement of outcomes and to the privately held sector?
When you look at aging, and for those listeners, in addition to being this part-time state senator, my full-time job is as an attorney, and I work in the area of elder law, probate, and estate planning. So where that would become important is that our home care program really needs to be that single point of entry into aging in place. That's why when you look at things such as the outreach for the AAAs, it's so important because the more information you get out, they're the access agencies under the Older Americans Act. So anybody that's looking at aging in place should be looking at those AAAs as a source of information and a resource to what's available in the community to provide those needed supports. That's also why, for instance, the Ombudsman program, particularly extending it to the community-based services, is so important to not only provide the information on where to get care, but also if that care doesn't quite meet a minimum standard, that you have a place to go to say, hey, this isn't working right. So there's not one single bullet that's going to say, hey, you just do this one thing and it's going to fix it. This is a holistic approach. You got to go at it from a whole number of different agencies or different perspectives. Having a municipal agency, a municipal senior center, access and connectivity to engage seniors. These are all important because you need to have that connectivity to get information, to understand what's available in your community, and then to move forward. I think this is a bill that looks in a lot of different ways at both the short term, like looking at something like presumptive eligibility, as well as including those studies that are going to start looking at different parts of this, both from workforce to actual care delivery, and making sure that minimum standards are accomplished. And it's why I viewed this with interest and really, commendate everybody on the committee for bringing this forward.
I thank you for that. Interesting perspective, the single point of entry and the connectivity, as opposed to, just blind mandating and then not having the enforcement piece of it. And for those people listening to this meeting that were wondering about the AAA, it's not the Automotive Auto Club of America. It's the area agencies on aging. So and we've seen their values. So thank you for recognizing that as well, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Representative Vale.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Senator. You said you had concerns, and I'm kind of following up on Representative Belinsky's questions. I hear what you're saying with that, and this is, there's a lot of sections to this and a lot of hard work's gone into this. Is there anything specific you'd suggest in the language that would alleviate your concerns about the registry? Do you have, I just kind of want to leave that open if you had any suggestions. We could talk about what it is, but what can we do in the language that would, to get to your point and make it better in your mind?
Yes, I agree that there's a wordsmithing capability to get the bill to where it needs to be. I won't go through the banter here, but yes, I would be more than willing to sit down and to engage in that to make sure that we make a good bill better.
Okay, thank you. I'd be curious too if you could send me information you had or any suggestions.
Sure.
I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.